everybody, what's up and welcome back. I apologize if my face is a little red. I just exfoliated and shower. My hair's wet, you know the jazz. If you're new here, hey, what's up? My name is Liz and this is Creating Crime Time, where I'm your host and I sit down, I talk about a true crime story, and most of the time I create art at the same time. So if you're interested in, you like true crime, you like art, hit that red subscribe button and turn your bell notification on to all, because I'm here for you every single week. And most days out of the week I have an upload for you guys. So today we are continuing with our John and Jane Does. Today we're going to be talking about Little Miss Nobody, and this case is back in 1960. So this case is, especially if you're a parent, if you're not a parent, this case is pretty hard to choke down. So I will advise you that this child, she is between the ages of 2 and 9. There's not a definitive age that has been determined due to different, like, her height, her weight, like teeth, stuff like that. There's a lot of discrepancies because each child grows at a different rate, so you can't like full-fledged determine whether she is a certain age due to the fact of like bone mass and muscle mass and body tissue, stuff like that. Sorry about random tangent. So her partially buried body would be discovered in a Sandwash Creek bed, and this is on Old Alamo Road. This is in Congress, Arizona. So she would be discovered on the 31st of July of 1960. Her body was actually discovered by a school teacher, and the school teacher his name is Russell Allen, and he was searching for rocks for his garden. Well, he stumbled upon her body. Investigators observed that it could have been possibly one or two perpetrators responsible for the burial, because there was alternate graves present at the site. Like, there was 2 other disturbances in the earth, basically, that what they discovered. And they also would find her clothing very interesting, because what she was wearing was kind of a little bit different. So she had white shorts on. She also had a checkered blouse on with a chain pattern, and she had adult thong sandals, or flip-flops. That's what they're mostly commonly known as, is she had adult flip-flops on, but the flip-flops had been cut to fit her feet, and there was leather straps fastened on them, so they would stay on her feet. Her fingernails were partially painted red as well, and they also found a bloody stained pocket knife near the body, but they couldn't determine whether or not that was correlated to the crime scene. So initially, her autopsy, they determined that she was between 5 to 7 in age, and she was about 3 feet 6 inches to 4 feet 5 inches in height. She was weighing approximately 50 to 60 pounds. So this size so in the range, is equal to a 9-year-old. So this is what I mean by there's a lot of like discrepancies in her age, because there's not a definitive of her size. So like, I know somebody's child where they have always been larger than everything else from birth, or from every other human on their growth chart. So if you are not a parent, if you don't know of this, doctors keep records of growth charts from birth until like when they add on there. It's basically like a giant graph, and this is how they determine what percentile they are in. And So this person's child, I know, literally was born in like the 150th percentile for head circumference and height and weight as well. And each year they have remained in like the 120th to the 170th percentile because of their child's size. And this girl in particular as well, because she was between 50 to 60 pounds, she was either 3 feet 6 inches to 4 feet 5 inches. That indicates that her size puts her at about 9 years of age. So, or if you're a shorter person, or on the, like, if you're vertically challenged and have been for most of your life, your size reflects on a younger age. So it's, if you didn't know about that, it's good to think of, because these are all approximations. There's no way to definitively guess unless you are an anthropologist that specializes in knowing exact ages due to like bone density and specific growth, stuff like that. So you're welcome for that. If you didn't know that, you're welcome for that little insight. So it was also determined that she was predeceased for 1 to 2 weeks before she was discovered. And she had brown hair, but it had a tint of like an auburn red. She had a full set of milk teeth, and they were in remarkably great condition. So they determined that she had very like good dental hygiene, that she was well taken care of, like her mouth was well taken care of basically. Her autopsy, they never definitively determined what her cause of death was, so it was ruled homicide for the manner of death, because they couldn't definitively determine what actually killed her, so they just put homicide as a fail-safe. So there's some reports that state that her body was charred due to her body being set on fire around time of death. And she also didn't have any fractures in life or at her time of death as well. So her body was in really good condition. Unfortunately, because of her state of decomposition, composite drawings weren't able to do a composite, like a full composite sketch of her, because her features weren't intact, and they weren't able to do it at this time. So there was an extensive local and national effort to figure out who she was, and she is still unknown to this day. I will say that in 2018 they were able to do an updated facial reconstruction on her. It was released to help identify her, but there was still nothing that came of that sketch. So at first they suspected that she was a 4-year-old that had gone missing. This 4-year-old was Sharon Gallegos, and she was abducted from New Mexico 10 days prior to Little Miss Nobody being discovered, but this was ruled out. So in 1961 they would then believe that she is a child named Debbie Dudley, and she was a 4-year-old that went missing from Virginia. But this was also ruled out as well because Debbie's body would be discovered eventually. Yeah. So, like I said, in 2018 they were able to do an updated composite sketch of her and facial reconstruction. They also, in 2018, exhumed her body to obtain DNA. And the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children paid for the exhumation and the genetic testing on her. So, with that being said, the DNA extraction was successful, and it is being compared. Because of the exhumation as well, they were able to do the full facial reconstruction for her. That way she had a full face. And she would be subsequently reburied at the Mountain View Cemetery in Arizona. So that is the case of Little Miss Nobody. They are still doing the genealogy and the genetic testing, and at this time she still is unidentified. In this case, is unsolved. So hopefully within time, if they do figure out who she is, we will be able to solve this true crime case, because there has been a lot of updates when it comes to genetic genealogy and solving these unsolved crimes. So I hope you guys learned a little bit from this case today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.